Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today's block is called the Whirlpool block. And here is my block. I made it out of a dark brown and a light brown and just a white background. And you can see there's not much background in this one, so it's a bit different. It uses a 4-patch unit, and we're doing a square and a square using triangles. And we have some rectangles. So the key to this block is to having your colors opposite each other. You don't have light colors together. So anyway, I hope you'll stay with me and I'll show you how to make this block. And at the end of the video, I'll give you a little update on how we're getting along with our house build. Here are the fabrics you're going to need to make the Whirlpool block. For A, you'll need one 5-inch square, and you'll need to cut that on one diagonal. For B, you'll need two 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles. C is two 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. D is two 2.5 inch squares. E is one 5-inch square, and you cut that on one diagonal. F is two 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles. G is two 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. H is two 2.5 inch squares, and then I is one 5.5 inch square, and you'll cut this on both diagonals to give you 4 triangles. So I'm going to adjust the camera and we'll get started making the Whirlpool block. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to make 4 patch units with the D and the H squares. So we're going to sew them to the opposite colors. So one light to one dark. So it'll look like that. Oops. Like that. And so this is easy to do. You can just chain piece these together. So right sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now on this one, just choose whatever colors you want. You can use more than 2 colors, and you don't have to use brown. I'm just using up scraps that I have, and I have quite a few brown scraps, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a couple blocks with these. Brown is not a color I normally use. Okay, so we have 2 pieces like this. And I'm going to press towards the dark and then sew them together. Okay, so we have 2. Just going to flip one around so that we have opposite colors touching. And that will make our 4-patch unit. And press one more time. Okay, here's our 4-patch unit. So next thing we want to do is we want to sew triangles on this to make it larger, so it'll be a square and a square. So we need an eye triangle. We need the 4 eye triangles, and we're going to put them each on each side. So what I want to do is to find the center of the long edge of these. So I'm going to do that by folding it in half. We're going to line the wrong sides together up to find the center, and I'm not stretching this, I'm not pulling on this, and being careful. Line it up with the seam of the 4-patch right there, and then just let it open up, and then I'm going to stitch that down. Okay, now I'm going to put one on the opposite side. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put the wrong sides together to find the center of the triangle. Line it up with the seam and then sew that. Okay, so I've got two sides on. Now I'm going to go ahead and clip off the dog ears here because the foot I have has a little ledge on it for the 1/4 inch seam allowance to help you guide that, and those will get in the way. So I have 2 more to put on, so I'm going to put these on the opposite sides, and this will make our square and a square unit. Okay, got one side, and time for the other. Right, press again. Okay, so there's the square and a square unit. Okay, I'm going to trim off these little dog ears. Okay, now we have the H and the E triangles to add. So we have the E triangles are dark and the H ones are the A ones, not H. What I want is for opposite colors to be meeting. So we're going to put this dark to this light. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the background triangles. So right sides together, or wrong sides together. So wrong sides together, find the center, and then line that up with the point here. We don't have a seam, but we do have that point. So we're going to line that up, and we're going to sew here. Okay, flip that around, put a dark on this side because we have a light square. Okay, I'm going to press these seams open. Okay, so we have this, and I'm going to cut off those little dog ears again. going to match the light up. And just be careful with these edges because they are, the long edges are biased, so they will stretch on you if you pull on them. So just be careful with those. Okay, so here we have that much. So we're doing pretty good. I'm going to trim off these dog ears. Okay, now we need to make the border unit. So we're going to use the C and the G rectangles and then the B and the F rectangles, and we're going to sew those together. So we're going to sew on the short seam, the short edge, the 2.5 inch edge of these. So we're going to sew 2 sets of these and then 2 sets of the F and the B rectangles. Okay, so this is what we have. 2 like that. I'm going to press these. Okay, so those are those 2. Have them, and then we need to do the other set. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. And then we need the F and the B rectangle. So these are the longer rectangles. And we'll do the same thing. Just sew the short edges together, the 2.5 inch edges. Okay, so we have these 2. Now we need to sew them to the block center. Now for this, we're also going to match or contrast the colors. So we want, for the first 2 sides, we want to put the light to the dark and the dark to the light. And I'm going to center that up with the point here on the background triangle. So this point will be matched up to this seam. And since these are kind of long, I'm going to pin right here. So we're going to go to the opposite side. We're going to do light to dark and dark to light and match the seam up with the point. And I'm going to pin. And then we'll sew this on. Let me press those two sections back. Okay, here we go. We got that much in now. Okay, and then we need to add the last two segments to the two opposite sides that are left. So once again, lining up seams to the point and pinning. Okay, I'll give it one final press and we'll look at the block. Okay, here is the completed block. So this is our Whirlpool block. And I think that one turned out really nice. I'm really pleased with that. It isn't difficult. You just you're working with triangles instead of like half square triangles where you sew two squares together and then cut them in half to make the triangles. Here you're cutting the pieces into triangles before you sew them on. So the only difference is that you need to watch your handling of these pieces so that you don't stretch them out of shape, because these are straighter grain, but these edges here are bias on both the background piece and on this brown piece. That's a bias too. This is straighter grain, this is bias, this is straighter grain, and those two edges are bias. So you just need to watch that so you don't stretch your block out of shape. But other than that, it's really simple. You're just using squares and rectangles. So anyway, hope you'll give this block a try. Okay, here is our completed block. So that turned out really well. I'm really happy with that. It's a different block. I haven't seen one like this before. So I really like it, and I think they'll make a real interesting quilt. If that's the only block you used in the quilt, I think it would be real interesting. So anyway, I hope you'll give that block a try. Now, if you like this video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. Now, I promised to give you an update on the house. I know I haven't done that a lot through this whole process. I think the last update was about a month ago. Last week I didn't get a video out because we were working on the house, and my husband and I both took a week off work, and we spent 9 days out of 10 working on the house. So we'd get up in the morning, eat breakfast, and go out to the house and we'd work. And we did get a lot of progress made, which is great. We need to be able to do this probably for a month take a full month off and do this. Of course, we can't do that with our jobs, so it is still going to take time, but our goal is to get done by the end of December. So we're putting tongue and groove pine on the interior walls except for inside the closets and in the bathrooms, and those are drywall. And we have all of that done except for one short hallway that backs up this, that is a shared wall with the master bathroom, and the plumber still needs to use that wall for some plumbing, so we left that open, but hopefully we'll be able to get that done in the next week or two, and then we can concentrate on finishing the drywall. We have our daughter's bathroom drywalled, and I'm in the process of mudding and taping that. I've got the first coat of mud and the tape on that, and then it's going to need at least 2 more coats before that's done. And then I can also, once we get the plumbing done in the master bathroom, then I can do the mudding and taping in there, and then possibly even start tiling in the shower. We're going to put tile just on the shower walls, and so that's 3 walls. And then we need to finish the platform for the tub, and the plumber needs to do his finish work with the other bathroom, installing the toilet and the sink. Now we've got to find the vanity for that bathroom. We got to find the vanity actually for both. We actually have to find the vanities for both bathrooms. We haven't found anything we like yet, so we've got to do that. So I think over the next week or 2, probably our focus is going to be going out and finding those items that we need, those vanities and the sinks. And then we can finish those off, and then we can get the kitchen cabinets in, and then it'll be the flooring. So it seems like a short list, but the fact that my husband and I are doing all of that kind of work, and we work full time, we don't have a whole lot of time to do that. Luckily, it's summer's coming and the days are getting longer, so we'll have more daylight. We can work in the evenings if we're not too tired after getting off work, which today isn't a good day because my husband, he has another part-time job on top of his full-time job, and today he's working his part-time job, so he probably won't be home until 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and so that doesn't leave us time to go out there and do any work. And but it is coming along, and we're seeing the progress, which is great. We still have issues with the log siding on the back of the house on the walkout basement wall. It's fallen off. It's just not staying up, and my husband worked 4 days on that last week trying to figure out how to get that secure so it will stay, and it's just not working, and we don't know why. We called the log home company, and they said you just need to screw it into the studs. It's like, well, we are, but the screws are breaking, and we're using the recommended screws. So we don't know what's going on. So he went to a heavier screw and started face nailing the siding in with those screws. It's still not working. So we're kind of to the point where we're just going to take a loss on that and take it down and do something different, like maybe put some stone veneer on it or something. But it's just not working, and we'll see if we can get a refund from the company on that, because it's a defective product. It's just not working right. So also we have the guttering to get on. So we got a bid. We accepted a bid on getting the guttering installed. So we'll have that done soon, hopefully within the next week or so. So depending on when the company can get out there and do it. It's been a rainy spring, and it just needs to be on there. Of course, once we get it on there, we'll probably have a drought. It won't be needed until fall again, but it needs to be on there. So we're getting that done, and then just the finishing details, like installing door knobs on the cabinets and the vanities, and hanging up towel racks, and we got to pick out the flooring yet and get that installed, and that will take time because it's not a big house, but it's still a lot of floor space, it seems, and it's going to take time to do that. So hopefully by the end of the year, I think that's doable if we keep on it and keep working away at it and get it done. So anyway, that's about where we're at, and I'll let you know. I'll give you another update in a couple of weeks and let you know where we're at. So if you are interested in that and see what we're doing, I do have a channel called Log Cabin in the Woods, and you can see that. And I'm kind of about 2 months behind on uploading videos, so I think mid-April was the last video that was uploaded. It was from mid-April, so it's not real current, but it's just like a month behind, so it's not too bad. But anyway, you can look at it there and see what we're doing, and I hope you enjoy it. So in the meantime, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.